The following training is sponsored by the Neoga Library System. We serve our member libraries in Niagara, Orleans, and Genesee counties. You can always visit our main web page listed here at neoga.org, or certainly visit your local library homepage and use your library card to get access to streaming videos, downloadable music, audiobooks, ebooks, and even more from the comfort of your own home. Thank you. Hello. So here we are again, Soft Skills series. This is number 9, talking about work ethic. And one of the things I had said in the original video was, as far as work ethic, rehearsing things. Really, I do find I'm not a one-take person. Interestingly to me, though, I've been a little more lenient with my editing when I am actually visible on the screen. Hi, everybody. I allow more breaths and ums in the video to a small extent. Rehearsal is still vital to get those vocal tics under control. You want to try and do that. If you're not sure, stop, go silent, and then pick up again. When you edit, the voice and video will hopefully still work together. And if you don't like to see yourself on the screen, then don't do it, really. I'm shocked at how much easier and natural I feel in the video's flow when I can see myself, but not everybody feels that way. You can start like I did, voice only with the screen capture software of your choice. There's a lot of free options out there. And or you can even use your phone camera to just film the computer screen while you talk. I actually did this in my very first, well, not my very first video, but a video back in March, Evade Email Embarrassment. I just literally took my phone, filmed the screen, and as I was talking, and then I edited it with the Lightworks software, which I still find difficult to use. I don't think it's very intuitive, but it's out there. So using the phone camera was a little bit weird, but it did work. And if you are going to use your phone camera, always go in landscape. Don't do this. This is the landscape with the phone. So, okay, after poking around, I decided on several different sites to look at that discuss work ethic. They have quotes, they have techniques for building it. I still believe it's very much a personal decision on your work ethic, how you want to build it. And maybe one we do need to be careful with at this time. We're in the middle of a strange time, and when you're doing things virtually too, or when you're changing your routine for whatever reason, give yourself a little more cushion. It's okay. So, I will, as always, offer these tips with a solid grain of salt, a whole shaker of salt for the most part. Do your best. Have fun with it. If you can do that, it's even better. So I looked at Steve Pavlina, How to Build a Strong Work Ethic. That was from his blog. He writes books. And Jessica Elliott from WikiHow, actually, on how to develop a good work ethic. So I picked a few things from there and put them together. And as always, I'll put the links in the description or in the email. And this was a quote here in green by Charles Spurgeon. There is no fatigue so wearisome as that which comes from lack of work. So if you do find yourself stuck, there are several suggestions here from Steve Pavlina. Number 1, accept that results may require hard work, or they do require hard work, not may. I always appreciate seeing the videos of kids crashing on skateboards or doing the parkour and making a big mess of things. It reminds me when I watch people do this stuff of all the work it takes before you can get it right, and how many months and years of work it takes. And on that note, I decided to take some actual artwork. I think I'd mentioned in another video, I can't draw stick figures right, so I appreciate all kinds of artists and perspectives. That's fantastic. And I gave credit where I could here, or when I found them. And as far as hard work, art, dancing, I really like this particular picture, Dancing Under the Rainbow Tree. And I'm sure this Megan Morris did a ton of art before it was actually shown. So, okay. Number 2, notice how self-discipline versus laziness feels to you. And notice that during those times, and this is back to Steve Pavlina, when you actually do discipline yourself and you take action, it often feels fantastic once you get past the first 15 minutes or so. Sure, it's nice to enjoy the end result, absolutely, but remember what it feels like to push yourself beyond your comfort zone and get into the flow of action. And I really, again, liked this picture, made me happy to look at. And this is Flames of Happiness, ironically. I did not know the title of it, by Leonid Afrimov. So I like that one. Start your day strongly. Steve Pavlinov again talks about this. A strong work ethic begins with a disciplined morning routine. Now, at my quotes in here, I would venture to say start with a disciplined routine, whether it's morning or not. Mornings are not for everyone, but if you get up and you get going in your own unique way, it will make actual time off real time off. And I have found over the past weeks here that that has been a really important thing for me to do. Um, so my weekends are real weekends versus just another day where I got lost. But Steve goes on to say, start each day with a strong morning, and the rest of the day will tend to follow. Move with power and purpose during that first hour, own your mornings, then maintain this attitude of mastery over your time for as far into the day as possible. And when I thought about mastery and power and that, trains come to mind. So I picked this one, and it was almost impossible to find the name of it, but it's literally called Unidentified Steam Train by John S. Smith, and I like that one. Again, I've mentioned this time and time again. This has popped up. Exercise. This is still with Steve. Exercising strongly will energize you. Your body is meant to move. Your brain especially suffers from a lack of exercise, leading to imbalances in hormones and neurotransmitters. Physical exercise is one of the brain's best rejuvenators. Don't allow your mind to be dragged down by a sluggish body. If you have difficulty focusing your mind, you can start on by focusing on your body. Now, my note on this is I cannot stress enough how much getting an actual heart rate monitor really helped me. To actually see my effort on the app is really incredible for me. I've worked out on and off for most of my life, and I never ever used a monitor until about a year and a half ago. It completely has changed my attitude to be able to see my heart rate, to actually see my effort on the app, what I feel reflected, has been a game changer for me. Not everyone's idea of super hard exercising is your idea, and that's really important. Start small. Talk to your doctor first if you can. Start by walking, getting out and doing things, or even staying in and doing things is a good start. So a couple more quotes here in green. Nobody can think straight who does not work. Idleness warps the mind. That was Henry Ford. So we've got a picture of him here. And then Thomas Jefferson was quoted as, determined never to be idle. It is wonderful how much may be done if we are always doing. Well, get to it. Stop waffling. Stop talking about it. Go do it. Taking action produces faster results than thinking about taking action. Now, even if your action goes interestingly in the wrong direction, you'll see that almost immediately, or you'll figure that out and you'll be able to backtrack or even just curve around and back to the right direction. Many of the problems people discuss endlessly could be resolved with less than 10 minutes of direct action. Repeatedly driving yourself to get into action creates flow and feels good. Thinking about doing while not doing will produce pileups of unnecessary obstacles, also known as analysis paralysis. So shifting over to Jessica Elliott now over at the WikiHow website, she talks about work ethic, talks about being professional. I like this because she talks about being respectful of others, showing consistency and reliability, being honest, and other values are part of developing a good work ethic. Many of these values have to do with how you treat others. Work ethic doesn't mean just working hard, and I really like that, but also working well with others. When you make a mistake or don't complete your work, don't make excuses. Owning your mistakes or shortcomings and promising to improve in the future shows maturity and the willingness to work well with others and willingness to learn, lifelong learners. Set aside a time specifically for work. When possible, try to work around focus times. Give yourself a set period of time, such as an hour, hour and a half, in which you will work deliberately and without distractions. If you are in school or self-employed, then your hours might be flexible, and you will have to be diligent about making specific time to do your work. Even if an employer sets your work hours, which most of us are in that category, however, you can benefit by declaring focus time as possible. Ask others not to disturb you, turn off electronics, distractions, and things of that nature. And as always, with exercise comes the balance of giving yourself time to rest. Getting enough rest is important to maintaining a good work ethic. If you're truly tired and not looking to procrastinate, it's a sign that you really should take a break. Whatever your work schedule is like, make sure you factor in enough time for sleep and relaxation into your day. And please note, sleeping is not the same as resting. Resting, a lot of times you want to try and work another or a different part of your brain. If you're analytical, you might paint. If you're a creative person, you might work on other problems or mathematics or other things like that. What I found interesting was even Winston Churchill painted while he was Prime Minister of England in World War II. Churchill anonymously submitted some of his work to a public exhibit where he gained recognition from some of Britain's leading art critics who were surprised when they learned the identity of the artist. One of the critics observed that Churchill painted from a deep, calm part of his soul. So I found that again to be very interesting. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.